Barbados, get up.
Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Morning to you.
Good morning to you on this Monday, January 6th, 2025. I have to pause a little in between there because I'm still getting accustomed to saying that it's already 2025. But it's wonderful to have you joining us today. And it's great that you've welcomed us into your homes. I'm Tisha Hines and I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. And boy, an interesting show to share with you today. It will be a great mix of and interesting upcoming news, but we're also going to delve into a few stories that have been making news and some current affairs as well. So it's going to be a good mix in that regard. We have a senior journalist, multimedia journalist from TV6 in Trinidad joining us in just a little bit. And she's going to be talking to us about that state of emergency and what's happening on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago. You definitely want to listen in for that. I don't know if you know, but there was an update over the weekend. Many countries have issued travel advisories to their citizens against traveling to neighboring Trinidad and Tobago. And we know that they're in the throes of Carnival. So what does that mean for our neighbors? We definitely will ask all those questions of Urvashi Tiwari Rupnarayan, who's a senior, as I told you, senior multimedia journalist with TV6. So she'll be joining us for that. Plus, a young woman out of Jamaica who is bringing awareness to a concept called period poverty, something that I most certainly did not hear about before I spoke with her. But Shelly-Ann Weeks is making strides, not only through sharing with young women and people and businesses generally about it, but through having written a book. So she will be on to tell us more about that. And she happens to be a very good friend of mine as well. So we look forward to connecting with Shelly-Ann in Jamaica. But we wanted to start this morning telling you all about JCI Barbados. And they have a fantastic project, if only by name. It's called Math Fanatics. And I'm going to tell you about the spelling in just a bit. Joining us to tell us more is Dr. Deborah Rowe, who's project chair of the Junior Chamber International Barbados. And Shane Jones, not the one you think, another Shane Jones. He's PR manager with JCI Barbados. Good morning to you. Great to have you here and Happy New Year.
Good morning, Tisha. Good morning to everyone watching. Happy New Year.
All right. Did you guys have a good Christmas? You know, it's in Barbados, you have to ask these things first. Did you have a good Christmas?
Oh, it was phenomenal, yes.
What about you, Shane?
It was good for me as well. I usually rested and went with the family to eat some food.
That sounds about right. Yeah. So now you're ready and roaring to go in the new year. And you have this project coming up, Math Fanatics with an F.
That's right.
Before we jump into exactly what that project is about, tell me a little bit, for those who don't know, about JCI.
Okay, so JCI Barbados is a non-profit organization. It is a youth leadership organization ranging with participants ranging from ages 18 to 40. And we aim to do positive effects in our community, as well as building the growth and the leadership potential of young persons in Barbados and across the world. And so Math Fanatics is one of the ways in which we accomplish this. This is one of our flagship projects. Been going on now for 8 years. And the F in Math Fanatics is for the fun and also the food, because you get snacks when you come. So Math Fanatics is a tutoring program, a volunteer tutoring program, which is free. And it focuses on doing mathematics tutoring for students preparing for the Common Entrance exam. So this is class 3 and class 4 students. First, we've reached out to the primary schools in terms of persons who may be needing of assistance, but now we're opening it up to the public. So if you have a relative, a child, or know someone who has a child who is either in class 3 or class 4, trying to prepare for the Common Entrance, needs help with mathematics, that's where we can come in. So we have a program running next month from February 1st to April 26th. And it's on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
All right, that sounds exceptional. And I know there are a lot of parents out there who can't necessarily afford the full-on lessons.
Yeah.
So this can make a difference. Let's reflect a little bit, Shane, on the successes of the program in the past and what you've been able to do over this 8-year period that Dr. Rowe has told us about.
Yeah, so previously we were able to assist students with their confidence level as it relates to the exam. We have also, because what we try to do is to bring it to a place where, let's say there is one tutor, about 3 students. So we try to focus on, instead of a classroom of students, they get the attention that they need and the focus that they need. And also that way they tend to open up more as well to the tutor. So they feel more comfortable and they get past exam papers out and prepare for the exam as well.
Tell me though, Shane, why did you guys decide to do this specific program that is geared toward class 3 and class 4 students?
Well, we wanted to improve the exam results of students. We wanted to make sure that they feel confident when they're going to the exam room. And we also wanted to make sure that they feel confident, they know what they're doing, and that they will be able to produce results that they themselves will be proud of, and that they will have fun doing it as well.
All right, talk about the shape that the lessons will take, because Shane told us something very interesting. You're aiming for smaller classrooms,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
so that children can get individual attention, and we've been hearing this is what makes all the difference.
Exactly. I'm sure that we all heard what happened when the results came out, and we heard the commentary on it. And indeed, there has been a decline over the last few years in the mathematics performance. So yes, this is part of why the program is so important. And we do focus on small group tutoring. So as he said, we're aiming for about a one tutor to 3 student ratio so that we can have that personalized attention. Your tutor can go through the questions you got wrong and the topics surrounding it in a detailed manner. And for all of this, we have to thank the Massey Foundation, because they have stepped in to make sure that we have the resources available to keep this small group setting, because oftentimes that is one of the issues resource-wise. And in terms of the shape of the program, so it's a 2-part program. In that, we have the students who are coming to the program, we welcome you, and the tutors. So our tutors are actually volunteers who are screened, they apply, and this program is accredited for give back hours. So for all of our university students and those who need to have give back hours, or for those who want to make a positive change in their community, this project is for you. You fill out the application form. There's a CV requirement for the volunteers just to make sure that you have completed certain things in terms of you have the proficiency in mathematics to be a tutor. We have training sessions, so you're not left alone. We train you, we go through a workshop with you, we show you, we have resources, as was mentioned. We also utilize tablets to bring in the technology. So there is the resources aspect, there's technology aspect, there's training for our tutors, and that ensures that they are well versed in the information and they're able to help in that small group setting nurture the young minds of the students.
All right, so is this call out, so to speak, to only the people who might be interested at this time, or are you still open to tutors?
Oh yes, most definitely. So tutors, apply. We want to have you on our team, right? We also have lovely presentations at our closing ceremony, so everyone will have some tokens from the program, as well as the give back hours, as I mentioned. So for all of our persons who are looking forward to tutoring, getting your give back hours, making a positive change on these Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. in February and in April, we invite you, both the tutor volunteers as well as for students, to sign up.
Beautiful. Shane, tell us how to do the sign up.
Well, there's a link that we have within our posters that you will click on. So once you will just follow the instructions, it's basically easy to read and user friendly. And if you have any questions, you can also contact us on our WhatsApp number, 284-3851. You can also contact us via email at jcib.mathematics@gmail.com.
All right, so I'm just going to write it down because I know 1,000 parents are going to call me after. I want to make sure that I have all the information and give you some time to get it too. It's jcib.mathematics@gmail.com. And the number is 2843851, and this is a WhatsApp number.
Yeah, that's
WhatsApp
WhatsApp
only.
only.
All right, so you can just WhatsApp. I'm interested in having my child be a part.
Exactly.
Where does it take place?
So this year we are bigger and better. We have 6 locations thus far. We're going from the north, we're in Spikestown. The east, we're in 6 Roads, St. Philip. Centrally, we have both in Ellerslie, the Grisette's Resource Centre, St. George, we have the Valley Resource Centre, as well as in Christchurch, the Ivan Harewood Centre, which is at the Christchurch Parish Church. So plenty of locations to choose from.
All right, and this is absolutely free?
Absolutely free, compliments of the Massey Foundation. The Massey Foundation, we salute you. They're helping to make a positive change in our community.
Hey, good morning to Jennifer and everybody at the Massey Foundation. I know the wonderful work that they do.
And Jillian as well.
Yeah, so good morning to the ladies for making it possible. You know, we talked about some of the successes, Shane, that have come out of this over the years, not only through results, but most certainly in other ways for parents, redounds to communities, to schools, but really ultimately to the children, which is what it's all about. And this ties into your overall goal as JC, I would imagine, to be able to empower youth.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And one of the other things too is that during the mathematics exams, the classroom setting, we try to do like exercises and make our tutoring section more engaging. So we also aim to,
Make them comfortable.
more comfortable.
Exactly,
Which is
exactly.
important.
Because part of it is, yes, there's the small group session, but there's also a motivational aspect, as he was alluding to, because the confidence in mathematics is something that we find is usually an issue. Persons are scared that they don't know, or they just feel like they're powerless in certain regards. So part of our tutoring aspect is also to help build the confidence, and that is with the additional exercises and motivational aspect to the program, as was alluded to by my PR manager.
Yeah, well, I know that the 11 plus pass marks really have kind of dropped. I think over the last year, the last exam, they said it went close to or below 50%.
Well, I think it was actually closer to about 57 or 59%, which they said wasn't statistically significant because the previous year was also about 59%. However, we are edging closer and closer to that 50% pass mark. And really, what does it say? It says that about half of the persons who do the examination are not passing it at the level that we would deem proficient. And so that is, again, where projects like this, we're not the only one, but projects like this come in, and thanks to the Massey Foundation, we're able to have this program where not only is there tutoring, but we provide also snacks and light refreshments at the site. So for persons who maybe, had to leave early or whatever the case is, didn't have a breakfast at home, when they get to us, there is refreshments provided so that they can have some nourishment. The mind needs some fuel to fuel and do everything. So they will be able to have some level of support in that aspect as well.
All right, that's beautiful stuff. It's a great initiative, and I look forward to hearing that you guys are oversubscribed. 6 locations across the island. You want to make sure you get in. Do you have deadlines for the registration?
Yes. So our first deadline for registration will be January the 18th. If you get yourself in before the 18th, you'll have a high chance of being accepted. If you're not meeting that deadline, January 25th. So after the 25th, you can still apply, but if we are oversubscribed, you may not make it. So January 18th, try to get your applications in. This is both students and tutors, so that we can assign you appropriately. We can make sure that every tutor has their training session and all the students are properly assigned. So January 18th to make sure that you get in.
All right. Anything that you'd like to add before you go, Mr. PR Manager?
Yes. One thing I'd like to add would be the method of that some students use. Sometimes you will hear that students learn a new method and you, as a parent, didn't recognize that method before. So during our program, we also let students know both methods. That way they know if it's more comfortable for them, they could be able to use it and help them with their results as well in the exam.
All right, is that a specific method you're using? I know many of them are titled.
It's like long division and stuff like that. So
okay, because I know there's Singaporean mathematics. There are different places that offer different types of math that are now named for where they're from and things like that. We've had this discussion for the past few days because I can't help my daughter do math. They taught me from the time I was little to borrow and pay back.
Right.
And she doesn't do that.
Also, we're looking to have an outreach program this weekend. Most likely it'll be Saturday around 2 p.m. in the St. Philip, 6 Rose area.
Okay.
Yes, and the St. Peter area actually as well. Yes. So we'll be looking to come out into the St. Peter area, places like Boscobel. We want to see you. We want to be able to engage with the community, and more updates will be happening with respect to that as well.
All right, good stuff. The upcoming 2025 Math Fanatics project, part of their 2025 rollout for JCI Barbados, and there are 6 locations across the island offering free math tutoring to young people getting ready for the exam. So class 3 and 4 students, not only 4, class 3 and 4 students, and you can call them at 284-3851. WhatsApp them at 284-3851, or send an email to jcib.mathematics@gmail.com.
Math Fanatics.
Math Fanatics, and that's MathFanatix. All right? This is the young people spelling. This is the new young people spelling. I was just saying that I wrote to a younger colleague here at CBC, and his response by corporate email to me was easy. Easy.
Get with it.
I have to get with it, people. We have to get with it. The now older folk. All right, thank you both for coming in so much and sharing with us. We wish you the very best, and we're really happy that we can continue to share more about all the great work JCI Barbados is doing.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing all of you, all the students, all of the tutors at our 2025 JCI Barbados Math Fanatics program.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
Math Fanatics with an F and an X.
That's right. We are fancy, fun and fancy.
They're very, very, very fancy. All right, time for another break. When we come back, we're connecting with our journalists, colleagues in Trinidad and Tobago. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get her? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
To Morning Barbados, just about 25 minutes now before 7 o'clock. Now, in the past few days, we've heard that there has been a state of emergency declared in neighboring Trinidad. And we're told is owing in part to escalating gang violence and a staggering rise in crime, particularly as the nation prepares to get the much anticipated Carnival, a significant economic event underway just through January into February. So joining us this morning to give us an update on what's happening on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago is Urvashi Tawari Rupnarayan, who's a senior multimedia journalist and presenter with CCN TV6 in Trinidad. Good morning to you. Great to have you with us.
A very good morning to you, Ms. Tisha Hines, and of course a very good morning to all your viewers on Morning Barbados and of course the beautiful citizens of Barbados.
All right, wonderful. Let's start at the very beginning. Talk to me about what was happening that caused the powers that be to move toward instituting a state of emergency.
Well, of course, as you all will know, and of course people across the region and even across the world, we experienced our highest ever murder toll in 2024. That was at 624 murders. But not just the number of murders, we also experienced the highest number of double murders, of triple murders. We had ended the year with quintuple murder, we had quadruple murders. There has been an escalating use of high-powered weapons. A lot of the murders are linked to gang warfare. Of course, on December 27th, there was an attempt on the life of a reputed gang leader, Mr. Calvin Lee. And that happened just outside a police station, the Bester Street Police Station, which is just in the capital city. Police deemed, so that was on December 27th. On the 28th, there was that quintuple murder at a shop in Pritzgar Lands, Laventel. Police, of course, deemed that that quintuple incident as a reprisal incident for the attempt on the life of that reputed gang leader. And of course, 2 days later, we heard the nation woke up essentially to this proclamation by the president that there is a state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago. The regulations were released later that day. There was a media briefing by two senior ministers, Minister of National Security, and the acting Attorney General at 10 o'clock that morning. So it all happened in quick succession.
Wow. So, what are some of the specific measures that are being implemented under this state of emergency to address this situation?
So there are quite a number of measures available to the police. For instance, the commissioner, when you read the regulations, the commissioner of police, she can, in fact, restrict a person's movement. She can declare a place to be protected and limit or restrict the persons that can enter those premises. She can, in fact, impose a curfew. Of course, this has not been done just yet, the curfew part. The Commissioner of Police can take, anyone who is affected by the SOE, you cannot take legal action pursuant to the actions taken upon you by the police. However, if so deemed by the President of the Republic, you can get compensation for loss and damage. So you see that citizens have given up some of their rights. If, for instance, if you are in the company, according to the regulations, if you are the consort of someone who has in his or her possession a firearm, you are also deemed to have committed an offense. Police can now stop and search vehicles. Well, this had been possible before, but now they can stop and search. We have members of the Defense Force. They now have powers of arrest. There's also a sort of gun amnesty incorporated into the SOE, whereby if you do surrender guns or ammunition, you will not be prosecuted under the Firearms Act. Interestingly, there are some measures that are in the regulations that we do hope to get some clarity on a little further on during the SOE. This is to be, of course, debated in the House of Representatives this year. So we hope that when it is debated, we'll get some of those answers. Some of those concerns will be, no person is allowed to influence public opinion contrary to public safety. Those, it's sort of vague. Police can enter premises without warrants. Police can arrest without a warrant. Police can keep you in custody for 48 hours without arresting you. And after those 48 hours have expired, with the permission of a magistrate or, for instance, a senior superintendent or higher, you can be further detained for a period of 7 days for inquiries without arrest. The minister, of course, can issue something called a detention order against someone who is deemed that they may act prejudicial to public safety. There's no time limit to this detention order, but of course it will be subject to a tribunal. So these are just some of the powers that are available to the ministers, to the Commissioner of Police, to
what
the
has
police.
been the reaction from the public generally about the announcement of this state of emergency? Once we heard it here in Barbados, I know I certainly was surprised that they stopped short of issuing a curfew, which usually is one of the things that goes along with a state of emergency. Do you think that this has been because there are, in fact, carnival events that are still planned or are happening? So, that's twofold, really shouldn't, but two questions. The reaction from the general public and, to your mind, based on what you have experienced and seen, why there hasn't been a curfew to go along with it?
Okay, so the reaction that morning, I believe, when the nation woke up to this proclamation, it was concern. There was a lot of concern. We as well expected the curfew. We expected there to be some level of restrictions. We expected there to be more police presence, probably structured roadblocks out of the capital city, more lockdown, so to speak. But that didn't happen. That certainly did not happen. To be quite frank with you, for the regular citizen heading to work, heading to school this morning, schools reopened, it is life as usual. From what we've seen, the powers exercised by police that were not available outside of the SOE was to enter premises without a warrant, was to detain persons. Police have so far, as of Saturday, detained 126 persons. Let me just get the statistics. 126 persons have been arrested, 17 firearms recovered, 675 rounds of assorted ammunition recovered, and they have conducted over 1,000 searches. So it seems as though those deviants, those running afoul of the law, would be those persons who would feel the brunt of the SOE. For the regular person, we can move as usual. There's not much inconvenience. Yes, you may encounter a roadblock here and there, but outside of that, it is life as usual. As it relates to the curfew, interestingly, authorities are saying, and you keep on seeing these notices, there's no SOE as of now. That did take the population a little aback. As I said, we expected the curfew. Speculation is rife, yes, and may be related to carnival activities. But if you look at the results, from my count, we have had 2 murders for the year thus far. We are January 6th, and just 2 murders. That is a huge jump from a year where we had 624 murders in 365 days, So we are seeing the results as measured as the efforts of police have been. We are definitely seeing results. Maybe it's related to carnival activity, because when the SOE was announced, we did hear the commentators, the economists, they did come out and say, hey, this can affect our carnival. But on the ground, it may affect carnival in a positive way, because there is that sense of safety now.
So what are the expectations of, generally the promoters, the artists, the regular folk who will be attending all of these carnival events? We know it's not approaching, it's here. So for all of the people, we know there's been a lot of conversation online in particular about whether people should even travel to Trinidad for carnival. So what are the expectations generally as we look toward carnival as relates to security during the festivities, and how are authorities planning to ensure the safety of participants and, of course, attendees?
So thus far, it has been all systems go. We have had a couple events so far. Turnout has been just as usual. People are enjoying themselves. And as I mentioned, Tisha, there is that sense of safety. So you feel even safer to attend fests on your commute to and from. It is a stark difference to wake up every day and not see those notifications on your phone, shoot out here, how many persons died. So we are feeling very safe on the ground. And if I had to offer my opinion, I think we may see more citizens going out to attend these fests.
All right, we're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we mentioned that there was an update that was given lately by the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and we also heard word of a resignation. So we want to talk about that. That's all next. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, You don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. We have senior multimedia journalist, presenter with CCN TV 6 in Trinidad, Urvashi Tiwari Rupnarayan, who joined us just a few moments ago to talk about the state of emergency that's been declared in neighboring Trinidad as we look toward Carnival celebrations. And outside of that, just to hear about the safety of our Caribbean neighbors. Now, Urvashi is still here with us. Before we went to break, I alluded to the fact that the Prime Minister, after 45 years in government service or in service to the people of Trinidad, has announced that he will be stepping down before elections are constitutionally due. What has been the reaction in political spheres and generally from the people of Trinidad to this announcement?
Well, it was a little bit of a surprise. Though the Prime Minister did hint in the past that he would be no longer be offering himself up, it did really come as a surprise, particularly this close to an election. The election must be called before December of this year. Of course, the nation just has to get, I believe, 30 days notice before the election can take place. It was a little bit of a surprise. We were sent into a little bit, our newsroom, we were scurrying all over the place to get opinions and so on. Reactions so far, I think a lot of persons understand the Prime Minister's point of view. He is 75 years, as you mentioned, Tisha. He offered 45 of those years to the public, serving as minister, serving as MP for Diego Martin West, serving as Prime Minister. So it did come as a bit of a shock. So the population now, the question is, who will be now leading the longest existing political party in our country? Who will now be at the helm of the PNM? The party does not, according to their constitution, they don't hold leadership elections within a year of general elections. What will take place now? Will someone be handpicked as the leader of this party? How will it affect the People's National Movement heading into that election? Will it give the Opposition United National Congress a better platform in this upcoming election? So it is a lot of questions so far. Even the Prime Minister's statement, he did say, if I am to quote him correctly, he did say that he would be stepping down before the end of the parliamentary term. That came up as a point of conversation. The end of your parliamentary term, are you going to step down? Who is going to be Prime Minister? Are we going to have an interim Prime Minister leading the country into that election? So there I think some clarity needs to be had. Of course, that was the last question he was asked at that media briefing on Friday. So we did not get to pin him down on the actual answers. But of course, there is still time. He can probably reconsider, I should say, if no one is found to replace him either as a representative for Diego Martin West or for the leadership position of the People's National Movement. But it's quite interesting, because if he were to contest this election and the People's National Movement does win, that means that at 80 years old he will still be Prime Minister. So I think generally the country understands.
Okay, given this this announcement, it most certainly will change the political climate. As you mentioned, there are no clear leaders going into the next election cycle, which can create a very interesting climate leading up to an election. That's the first thing. But do you feel as though this resignation on the heels of having the most murders ever in Trinidad's history, 624 murders in 2024, and the announcement that there were in the region of 700 people who recovered from gunshot wounds, so there could have been possibly more deaths related to gunplay. Do you think this had any impact, any influence at all with the Prime Minister, with Dr. Keith Rowley's decision to step away from elective politics?
Definitely not. The Prime Minister is not one to admit any level of defeat. He's not one to shy away from confronting issues. I personally, I do not believe that this was at all related. I mean, but you would hear analysts making such suggestions, you would hear commentary and so on. But quite frankly, no, I don't believe this is the party putting their hands up in the air, because they have maintained that they are doing all that is necessary. However, political analysts have been questioning the timing of this announcement. How does it bode with the state of emergency? It's sort of taking some of the spotlight away from the state of emergency, particularly as the Prime Minister and his cabinet, they have gone to retreat in Tobago. So, online you would see a lot of commentary, you would see a lot of persons saying, are we really in an SOE with, very casual, they seem to be caught enjoying themselves, having a laugh and so on. Is this really a state of emergency? So to answer your question, to come back to it, Tisha, I don't think so. The Prime Minister is never one, Dr. Keith Rowley is never one to shy away from confronting any issues.
All right, to close the circle now on our discussion, what would you say as a journalist, as a Trinidadian, to international visitors, Caribbean people, Bajans who might be hesitant about participating in Carnival for 2025, considering that we're hearing about this state of emergency? You're telling us school is back in order today. People are out in their numbers. The general public has not been affected, but this most certainly is not what we've been seeing in the press.
Well, what would I say to international visitors? What would I say to the people of Barbados? If there was a time to come to Trinidad and Tobago, the time would be now, as I mentioned. If we, the citizens, are feeling that sense of safety, and it's evident in reports of murders, reports of shootings, of reports of killings, and so on. We're seeing for once the power is back in the hands of police. Now, of course, Tisha, the question is, how long will the state of emergency be in place for? What happens after the state of emergency? Will we then see those gang leaders and those gangs come back now to catch up on their numbers? I think that is the question. As it relates to how long the state of emergency is to be, according to the Constitution, within 15 days of the proclamation, which was on December 30th, the Parliament must sit to debate the state of emergency. When they sit, they can choose to extend the state of emergency by 3 months and another 3 months, up to 6 months. And that is, of course, by simple majority only in the House of Representatives. When that 6-month period has expired, you can go for another 3-month period, but you must get 3/5 majority of both the upper house and the lower house. So as far as we see, more votes in favor of the government in the lower house when they do sit, which will be next week, Monday, when the House of Representatives sits, they will extend the state of emergency by 3 months, which will cover the carnival period, which will mean that police have more authority in their hands, and that sense of safety will prevail for that carnival period and a little beyond.
All right. I want to thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us this morning. We definitely would love to have you back maybe in another week or so after the Parliament has met and they've talked about the concerns that the citizens as well as the journalists have, the various media agencies, the vagaries of some of the conditions under the state of emergency. Particularly of interest to me would be the fact that you have, in fact, freedom of the press, but here we are talking about anyone who is deemed to influence the public in a certain way can be liable under the state of emergency. So that has, I believe, large implications for the press in Trinidad and Tobago, whom I know are far more open in voicing their opinions than we are here in Barbados. So after that discussion, we'd love to have you back to share a little bit more about what's happening on the ground with regard to that. Again, thank you so much. Urvashi Tawari Rupnarayan is a senior multimedia journalist and presenter with CCN TV6 in Trinidad. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me, and a top of the morning to you and, of course, to all your viewers on Morning Barbados.
All right, time for a break here on Morning Barbados. Coming up, we update you with the morning report.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad?
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Just 7 o'clock, good morning to you on this 6th day of January 2025. I'm Tisha Hines with your morning report. St. Lucie residents have been advised to maximize the benefits from regathering as the parish showcases its unique selling points and all it has to offer. This was part of the message as the organizers and residents gathered in Holy Communion to bless the coming proceedings.
Senior Minister Carrie Simmons told the congregation at the St. Lucie Parish Church, regathering in the Northern Parish is an opportunity for tourists to experience the communities and bring business to local shops.
We all know that the visitors to Barbados like to be and to do and to experience that which we do. And therefore, the rum shop in St. Lucie and those people in St. Lucie who are not chefs, I don't want to make this thing a fancy thing, those people who could cook, they must be celebrated and they must be identified. And one of the things that we hope to be able to achieve is to identify the best cooks across this island in every parish.
Reverend Hugh Sandiford, in his sermon, says faith of self and nation will increase.
As we gather here today, we conclude this Christmas season. But with all endings, there is a beginning. So we begin in faith by following Jesus, the light of the world, as we gather. Let us, like wise men and women, worship or respond in love because that is what worship is. Let us respond in love to God by bringing all that we are as we come long home and build a better St. Lucie, a better Barbados, and in so doing, advance God's kingdom.
And St. Lucie representative Peter Phillips says many want to be on board.
It's an acronym: family, achievements, institutions, talents, and heritage, and that is what will be showcased this year. We will be updating you on a weekly basis of all those events that will be taking place, simply because every day the excitement is so high that we are getting people from the same shops that you spoke about, Minister, the small business owners and so on. They are coming and they're saying, I want to be part of that.
The calendar is packed with events to be enjoyed by all.
Well, the red millipedes, now quite prevalent in Barbados, have come through the ports of entry. That's the word from Director of the Center for Biosecurity Studies at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Kirk Douglas. Our reporter, Akeem Plinkett, investigated that, and we will share all the details of it with you during the news at 12. But until then, here's an update.
Barbadians are now seeing these creatures around their homes. Scarlet millipedes, or red millipedes, also known as Trigonelius corallinus, is a type of small arthropod that is native to the tropical forests of Southeast Asia. These colorful nocturnal creatures are herbivores and feed primarily on decaying leaves and wood. In the last couple of months, they have become prevalent in Barbados and have proven themselves to be a nuisance to Barbadian households and crop owners. Speaking to CBC News, Director of the Center for Biosecurity Studies at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Kirk Douglas, said they are likely to have entered through the ports of entry and asked for better detection methods moving forward.
These particular species could have entered through the ports of entry, so this is either through, more than likely through the actual seaport when you're importing plants and soil. Especially the eggs of the millipedes can be present in the soil or even attached to plants because they're so small and microscopic that they can be missed. And then once they enter the country, then under the right conditions, the eggs hatch. But it only highlights also to why we have to have good biosecurity at the ports of entry to be able to monitor and to also reduce the risk of the entry of unwanted pests.
Dr. Douglas says that human contact should be avoided with the millipede as it can cause irritation to human skin.
Like any other critter or creature, you want to have good sanitary practices, but they do release formic acid, which, when you're bitten by an ant actually injects formic acid, and that's the stinging feeling that you feel. But the formic acid is something that can cause blisters, skin irritation as well. So that's why the prohibition of handling them with your bare hands is recommended, or even stomping them with your feet, etc. Try to get a dustpan, hand broom, and try to get them out.
Meanwhile, entomologist Ian Gibbs gave some advice to homeowners on what they can do to reduce the sighting of the millipedes around and inside the home.
You can try to reduce the amount of organic matter that you have on the outside, like as you said, like piles of rotten leaves, rotten grass, wood gas, anything like that. And the second thing, they could also try insecticides like Mortel, Mortel, which contains fipronil. And you could also try another insecticide called Bifeng, Bifen. And the two of them should give some control.
For any concerns or strange sightings, all public are encouraged to call the Ministry of Agriculture or use them via WhatsApp Messenger at 832-2445. Akeem Plinkett, CBC News.
There's a need for robust legislation related to heritage sites and terrestrial archaeological resources. The call from Deputy Director of the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, Kevin Farmer. He was speaking at an event entitled Ancestral Voices from the Newton Burial Ground, held at Bajan Art Forums in Pelican Village. Mr. Farmer says while the government has passed legislation for marine resources, there is a need now to look at the land aspect of the matter.
Signed on to international charters, which means that we must put in place local legislation. I know that some governmental agencies are going through the process of relooking that again. What I will say that is encouraging is in the last 2 weeks, Parliament has passed legislation to protect marine archaeological resources. So that bit has been covered. It is now to protect the terrestrial.
Says that while there is some legislation in place, it is not as in-depth as it needs to be, especially with a lot of construction expected in the upcoming years.
For right now, we only hang our hat on town planning legislation. And town planning legislation, because they will come to agencies like the museum and or the National Trust, can indicate where valued heritage is, asks for particular things to be done, but at the end of the day is at the town planner to decide and say to the developer you need to do X or Y. What I can't say is what then are the enforcement measures that the town planner has to make sure that that happens.
Now, urging you to listen up and act if you have any information. Police are seeking the public's assistance in locating a missing girl. Her name is Haley Naomi Talia Howard. The 14-year-old of Alexandria, St. Lucie, was last seen by her mother, Tamisha Howard, around 8 o'clock on the 4th of January. Howard is approximately 5 feet 5 inches tall, of slim build, brown in complexion, with one piercing in each earlobe and her left nostril. She also has a scar on her left hand. She has natural black hair, which has been bleached in a blonde color. Howard also has a tattoo on her right ankle and another with her first name, Haley, on the upper right side of her thigh. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Haley Howard is asked to contact police emergency at 211 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS. Showtime, ridden by Delano Lopez, won the first featured race of the We Gathering Barbados 2025 race day at the Garrison Savannah over the weekend, taking the Mum's Pride Perpetual Trophy handicap.
Racing and Queen of the South was a little slow to go for this, the Mum's Pride Perpetual Trophy handicap 2025 edition, and as expected is Showtime in the black and gold, who goes to the lead. Sitting in the second is Indelible, black with red sleeves and red cap. Mikal is third in the 2 shades of green. Then Queen of the South in the orange jacket, and the trailer is Sovereignty, black with red sleeves and black cap. The opening quarter, a very slow 26 flat as we go towards the 5 furlong mark, and it is Showtime, just about a length and a half up from Indelible. Mikael just cruising along in third. Queen of the South going up along the rails. And Sovereignty is in touch as just about 7 lengths will cover the entire field after a half mile in 51 and 2. And Showtime has them stacked up behind them. That's the leader, just by about a length now from Indelible. Mikael being pushed along. Queen of the South is looking on the rails for a run through. And on the outside, Sovereignty makes a good run as well. Inside the quarter pole they come, and it is Showtime, still the leader. Indelible is still second. Mikael is caught wide in third. Queen of the South needs the running room, and if she gets it, she can be the biggest threat to Showtime. Inside the final furlong they come, and it's Showtime under left-hand drive. On the outside, here's Queen of the South to ask her a question. It is Showtime and Queen of the South. Showtime from woe to go wins it. Queen of the South was second. Mikael was third.
And of course, you'll have a full package of sports and news coming up at 12 noon right here on CBC TV 8. If you're on the move, tune into our network of stations. We do a simulcast with the CBC News World at 1 p.m. on 98.1 FM, 94.7 FM, and Q 100.7 FM. Just about 13 now after 7. That's it for our news update, but we have lots more coming up. We'll be telling you all about the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Award. coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the community this Thursday.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, welcome back to you. For those of you who love reading and writing, this segment is going to be of particular interest to you, but yeah, we love it across the board. So let me say a very special good morning to Dr. Yvonne Weeks, who's chair of the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Committee, and Mr. Samuel Sawyer, who is committee member of the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Committee. I never pronounce your name correctly. Never do. Last time I saw you was at Pontifications and Poetry. And what's the correct pronunciation?
Sawyer, as in do, re, mi, fa, so. Samuel Sawyer.
Sawyer.
Yes, please.
So not Sawyer. Sawyer. I think I have it right, and then I say it, and it's never right. But I'm sure you understand. Nonetheless, welcome.
Thank you. A blessing
Thank
new year to you.
Happy New Year.
The viewers.
Absolutely, to you as well. So we are 27 years on.
That's right.
With the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Award. Talk to us about how things have changed, how it has grown over these 27 years.
Well, one of the ways it's grown is that we now have the spoken word element. It's not one competition, it's two separate competitions. So this is the second year of having the spoken word element. I think also we've tried to do a lot more for writers as well, to be more supportive. So it's not just that you win the 3 top awards, first, second, and third prizes, which are with cash prizes, but we also, before we used to do honorable mentions for people who didn't quite make it, but we thought the work had potential. So this is also the second year that we're also giving developmental awards, which is a prize where we pay an editor, mentor to work with those two writers for a period of, is it 6 months, Sam? Yeah, it's about that.
Yeah.
From March to the end of, my math is not good, so I better not say, for 6 months.
What are some of the notable success stories? I know that you won a long time ago.
Yes.
A long time ago. I had to emphasize that.
But it's funny that you say that, because even though I won a long time ago, the book is now being redone.
Wow.
And it's been published in Spanish now. And so that's just been launched in September. I'm getting my copies today in Spanish.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. But what are some of the success stories that the committee is more than happy to share about, how you've been able to empower writers throughout the years?
Well, one of them would certainly be Dr. Karen Lord, who has published a number of works and won numerous international awards in the area of speculative fiction.
Yeah.
And that's a new field for Barbadians in terms of publication, because traditionally we've concerned ourselves with the trauma of the transatlantic slave trade, and that's dominated the writing. But young people now are interested in things other than the slave experience. But interestingly, we find that some of the writers are taking the slave experience and
fresh perspectives.
Yes, coming at them from the perspective of science fiction and speculative fiction, because the distinguishing feature of writers is imagination. So the past is not dead, it's being reconsidered and represented or represented in different ways that would be appealing to readers in the 21st century.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we have Sharma Taylor, whom I describe as a Jamaican Barbadian, an attorney at law who's a wonderful writer who's gone on to, increase success. And you also have, because I'm a teacher by lifetime, Kerry Belgrave, who twice won the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment competition.
All right, so we know that there are a number of categories. So from fiction to poetry now, spoken word.
Yes.
What are some of the criteria used to kind of shortlist those people who are able to qualify for the award?
Right, so we have an initial reading of all of the manuscripts, and for the most part, some of those manuscripts don't meet the criteria, so they've got their name on the manuscript. So simple things like that, or they submit 2 poems when it's supposed to be a complete manuscript. And that tends to whittle it down fairly quickly, which is kind of unfortunate, because the criteria, the guidelines are there, and it does say a single poem won't be, or a single story, but we still do have that happening. And then we have a committee, it's 10 of us, and we read the work and we decide, this is a holistic story, this poetry has fresh perspective, this reimagines or reconceptualizes an old story. So once we do that, we then have a long list. And that long list is, sometimes we fight a little bit, sometimes we argue a little bit, but we do say, are the characters believable? Is the poetry full of cliches? We don't want to see a collection that is, oh gosh, I've read this before. This is and sometimes poets in particular don't understand what cliche is. It's not just a common expression. It's the fact that it's not a new way of saying something. So once we do that, then we sit down again and we read again the short list, and we come up with the top 5. But it's normally people that are innovative, have fresh perspectives, have a clear narrative arc, for example, in poetry. And so that's what we look for in the literary section.
Would you say that part of the process is the most difficult part for you, where the committee members kind of go away and read and then have to come together to meet consensus in some regard on what goes forward?
I wouldn't say it's the most difficult part. I would say the most difficult part, it's the most time-consuming part.
It's the most time-consuming.
Yes, because despite, the fact that there is something called speed reading, I do not think people who appreciate literature use that approach to reading literature.
Oh, no.
But the most difficult part, I would say, is the fact that although the central bank is very generous and cannot be faulted for its generosity, you know, there's never enough money to go around for deserving people. So the most difficult part is actually when we have several high quality entries and we unfortunately can't award a prize to everybody, so we have to, you know, decide which 3 people or which 6 people will get prizes, although we feel maybe 10 or 12 deserve them.
Right. So sometimes we've had multiple winners. So we've had people joint first place, joint second place. For example, I think Tom Cross was joint first place with someone else. I can't remember the writer now. But we've had a number of 2 third prizes because the quality of work has been so good. And we want to encourage writing. We feel that we need to encourage reading in order to encourage writing.
Now, I'm happy that you mentioned the central bank, Mr. Sawyer. Talk about the role that the bank plays in keeping this you know, this amazing these amazing opportunities available to the public for such a long time. What's their general role?
Well, I would say, first of all, in terms of communication and public relations and just making sure that the public knows about the competition. For example, they've done a lot of work in ensuring that everybody knows the award ceremony is Saturday, January 11th. 6 p.m. All are invited, all the writers, all the supporters of writers, families, fans. They make sure that they cover that in terms of creating the videography, whatever. They also, I have to say that Dr. Kevin Greenwich has been amazing because we had this much money. And I said to him, can we get this much more? And he was very accommodating. And you know, once you justified and rationalized where we want to do more workshops, we want to do an editing workshop. We want to do a spoken word, and this is how much it's going to cost. He was like, "That's fine, Dr. Weeks. You can have that money." So they are crucial to our survival.
All right, that's excellent. Now, for the actual show that's coming up, the award show that's coming up, the ceremony, the award ceremony on the 11th of January. What can the general public expect in terms of the presentations?
Well, the general public can expect, as usual, that they're going to receive quality, that this ceremony is going to be acknowledging the accomplishments of the entrants to the competition, and that they are going to get the experience, the audience that is, of hearing readings from all of the winners. This would be in the categories of poetry and prose, and in addition, the 3 finalists of the spoken word competition will be competing live in the finals.
Yeah.
That's an interesting twist.
Yes, so Akeem Chandler Prescott, Lucy Hammonds and Cindy Marshall are working on one piece together, and Timon Howard are the finalists. So we listened to a number of spoken word artists, and then we invited them to a second level where we could see them live, and then we selected the top 3. So they are going to be judged live, and that's exciting as well.
What impact do you think including this spoken word element will have generally on the literary community, or basically on how people enter and look at the competition?
Well, for me, I started as a spoken word artist in London and then became a writer. For me, it's like a natural progression. Firstly, we have an oral culture, we have an oral history. We have orality is what Kamal Brathwaite speaks of. And I don't think we should deny those voices. And those voices have become writers themselves. Akeem, for example, was a shortlisted writer, even though he's known as Stoned with Cupid. He's actually quite an excellent writer as well. And I think it's also, because it's also performative, that it has a way of attracting an audience in a way that the written word perhaps does not. Of course, I want people to read more. Whether they're performers or dancers, I want people to read more. I think without reading, we're not gonna remain, are we? Remaining the critical thinkers that we need to be. So for me, the spoken word does have an impact. And also young people are attracted to it. And I think that it can easily be seen as literary, so it's that particular demographic. You know, the ones who get upset easily about certain things in society. But we want to make sure that we pull young people in. And there is an award the John Wickham Prize, which we haven't given for a while, and this year we are giving it, and so we're excited about that.
And there is a certain attraction in bringing the written word to life on stage. So I think that will be interesting. So what specific elements will judges consider for this particular part of the ceremony?
For the spoken word aspect, we would consider what any sensible reader who appreciates literature would expect. That the content is worthwhile, not that we have a prescriptive list of what people should write about. Yeah. But as anybody who reads, you will know when somebody is addressing matters of the moment, when they're addressing concerns that resonate with a human being. We would expect, because it's literary, that there would be creative, imaginative language use. And because it's spoken word, clearly the body language, the use of the voice, the timbre of the voice, the pacing, all of those elements that would be part of any oral expression would be the things that the judges will be concentrating on.
Wonderful stuff. In addition to that, as we mentioned, I think briefly before, just mentioned the areas where you will have maybe some people demonstrating their versatility.
So first of all, they don't know whether they've won or not. We keep that a secret. So all 5 writers, we've selected extracts for them to read. And I think I've chosen extracts that are engaging and exciting and going to bring the audience in. And then they will find out there whether they've won or not. So we do keep that kind of top secret and confidential. But I can share with our viewers that our finalists are Naila, Imoja, Patrick Foster, Gloria Eastman, Romario Phillips, and Andy Davis. Those are our shortlisters, but no one knows except.
So they know that they're finalists, but they don't know which prize they've won, first, second, third, fourth, etc.
They don't know.
Obviously, you've already noted which areas.
Yes, well, we've identified the manuscript.
Yes.
So Naila has an amazing manuscript, Jamaica's Exam. Romario has a nice one, Soil Remembers, which explores slavery. A collection of poetry.
And another collection is Blackness Stretches Over the Land, which engages with the concept of blackness in a diversity of ways, some of which we have not seen in literature in Barbados before.
Yeah.
Well, definitely sounds like an interesting time to be had by all. And the awards have been going on since 1997. So it's wonderful that 27 years or so in is still going in this way and still creating such interest.
Yes.
So if I could go back to something you asked earlier about the contribution of the central bank.
Yeah.
I think the single most important contribution is vision. Because there are too many instances in Barbados, the Caribbean, in the world, where talented people who could contribute to the development of humanity and civilization have gone unacknowledged. Their contribution has not been shared with the world because opportunity has not been provided because there's been a lack of vision. So it starts with vision, and then of course it needs to be complemented with cash, which is another major contribution of the central bank.
Yeah.
Vision and cash.
And I also want to add, this is a way of remembering Frank Collymore, because it's done in his name. And I was speaking to someone in Grenada recently who told me that Frank Collymore literally saved his very abusive childhood life. He looked forward to listening to his stories and poems on the radio in Grenada. And that's something that I'm a little bit concerned about, that we don't remember Frank Collymore. And the reason that this award happens, again, is because of the vision that the bank had to make sure that this person, this man, who was a poet, a teacher, and apparently he was also a Combemarian. I have to always say that, otherwise I get into trouble. I get into trouble for not saying that. But that's why this is happening. You know, we didn't just come here. We didn't just create this. We stood on someone's back, and Frank Collymore is instrumental. We don't want our children, our students, our teachers to forget that. And they should be exposing their children and students to his work as well.
Yeah, that gave me a really great idea, because you mentioned a friend of yours
Yes.
who talked about how hearing his works on the radio kind of helped him.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've moved away from in media here in Barbados a lot. You don't hear a lot of the works on air.
Right.
So, that's definitely something to consider. But this award is, just an award that keeps giving. I mean, here you are, Dr. Weeks, talking about republishing the book that you won for many years ago, now in Spanish, and waiting for the physical copies now.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the post office immediately.
So it says in great measure that this is quite multidimensional, even as we look at the mentorship aspect of it and how recipients are able to benefit throughout the years.
And also the visibility that you get, because I've subsequently been published by a number of other publishers. My other work has been published, and it is really because, there's this FCLE winner, let's see what's her next work. And I think Karen and Kerry, Esther Phillips, our poet laureate, who's won the award as well. The FCLE has made us as writers more visible to the literary community in the region and definitely globally. So I've actually gone and read from Volcano in Colombia and Venezuela, and I'm going in March, I'm going to Puerto Rico. In London, I've read. So it is an amazing opportunity once the publishing world recognizes that, this shows that the publishing world recognizes this is a big award for Barbadian writers.
Now, I know we're at the end of this cycle for the award, but what would you say to maybe someone looking on? Because I know there are often a lot of people who have fantastic work, but they don't know it. And some of them are afraid to show. Some of them don't necessarily know if they think it would be good enough. What would be your best advice for people looking on who might have some work and are thinking, maybe?
An important consideration is surrounding oneself with a supportive community. People who will give you encouragement, people who will say to you that we believe you have something worth saying, that what you're saying is aesthetically pleasing. This is something we're sharing with the world. I would also say that people should explore all the opportunities available to them, and the Collymore Literary Award is a major one, certainly in terms of cash prizes. It's the most important, prestigious one in Barbados. And to appreciate that there's a standard of excellence that we are aiming for, because this is part of the legacy of Barbados. In the same way that the Prime Minister and her advisors conceptualized regathering, the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Committee and the award and the competition is part of a recognition of legacy. And unfortunately, as black people, and I'm entitled to say that because I'm black, we don't seem to value legacy. It is only recently that we've been hearing a manifestation of this, which unsurprisingly is related to the material, where we talk about generational wealth, because we're people who would create something and it dies with the creator. It doesn't go on to the children and the grandchildren. And it's high time that this became a thing of the past. We need to see our contributions as having perpetuity and putting measures in place, whether it is artistic, it is economic, whatever it is, that we don't have to be retreading the same old ground and trying to do something that we did before, but we lost it. We have lots of tradespeople in Barbados, craftspeople who are dying out now, who have skills and knowledge that nobody is capturing. And when you talk about not having stories and poems and so on in the media, that's ironic, because we have more radio stations in Barbados now than when I was born in 1961. And we should have right now a national commitment to promoting the arts and every aspect of Barbadian creativity as a standard modus operandi.
I mean, this is true. I can't disagree with anything you've said. I remember hearing, this poetry and this literary work on air. As I grew up, it's not there.
Yeah, we would hear Jeanette Lane Clark.
Yes.
And we would hear Alfred Pagno.
For sure.
And we would hear Timothy Calendar's stories. And we don't hear these things anymore.
Yeah, so it's wonderful that, and you mentioned it as well, Dr. Weeks, about sharing about Frank Collymore, which is important.
Yeah, it's important. But as a writer myself, I also need to say to our potential next year winners, you must have critical people around you as well. So when I was writing Volcano, I had Earl Lovelace look at my first chapter years before I submitted it. And he was like, And he gave me lots of really good advice. And so I rewrote my first chapter. And the same with my final chapter. Kamal was like, it ended too abruptly. So you do need critical people. I'm not suggesting you have to find a Kamal, because there are other people you can get advice from. There's Robert Sandiford that I would go to for my poetry, and I've gone to, but I'm in a kind of unique position, but because I've had one book published, it's easier to get published now, way easier. So but it's all, that is why the Frank Collymore endowment has these. We've got two amazing mentors this year, one from Jamaica, Professor Opal Palma Adisa, and one from the University of Puerto Rico, Professor Loretta Collins Klober, award-winning writers, because we want our writers to get exposure to what is out there. We also have Elise Dilsworth from the UK, who is an industry professional. She's a literary agent. So she also runs an additional workshop, 2 additional workshops, individually with the writers that are shortlisted, as well as collectively, which means we're getting much more than we used to in the past.
All right, thank you both so much for coming in and sharing with us. So the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Award ceremony takes place this Saturday, January 11th, 6 p.m. at the Frank Collymore Hall.
And it's free. It's free, so all are invited. Get ready to immerse yourself in an extraordinary literary experience. The Central Bank of Barbados invites you to join a vibrant community of creatives in the Frank Collymore Hall on January 11, 2025 at 6 p.m. for the 27th Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Awards. This event celebrates the remarkable talents of writers who elevate storytelling through their exceptional literary works and spoken word poetry. Each year, the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Competition provides a platform for writers to showcase their talent while competing for cash prizes. But the benefits extend far beyond this. The annual competition also offers invaluable mentorship opportunities, allowing writers to learn from industry experts who can help elevate their craft to new levels. Don't miss this unique chance to witness the incredible talent being recognized on a national stage. Whether you're a poet, novelist, spoken word artist, or simply a supporter, the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Awards ceremony is your opportunity to connect with fellow writers and build relationships that inspire and empower you to grow. So, join us Saturday, January 11th at 6 p.m. in the Frank Collymore Hall for this remarkable evening of creativity and literary history.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit
longer. You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
All right, just about 12 minutes now before 8 o'clock. I'm losing my voice just a little bit, so I'm asking you to bear with us. But it's time now for us to connect with Shelly-Ann Weeks, who is an activist and author. And, she's passionate about what she does. She's into communications. There's so much. There are so many dimensions to Shelly-Ann Weeks. She's also a good friend of mine. So good morning and welcome, Shelly-Ann.
Well, good morning and happy 2025. Good to see you.
Happy New Year. Good to see you too, my friend. So let's rewind and talk a little bit about your journey as an activist. It started in a most remarkable way back in the days where you used to call yourself Dr. Sexy Ann. And
I'm
have
still
some
Dr.
very
Sexy Ann.
interesting talks. So let's talk about that.
Well, you know what? I've always been very interested in reproductive health, and when I changed my relationship with food, I felt so good, and it really affected my reproductive health. I had horrible periods, and I really wanted to let young people know that, listen, painful periods is not your destiny. You can actually do something about it. And just in going into schools and talking to people, I recognized that there was a need where menstrual products were, and that's how the period poverty work started. And that's 2015. And since we launched in 2015, we have donated over 9 million products right across Jamaica to schools, to community organizations, clinics, the prisons, different spaces where Jamaicans need support. Period poverty is a real issue, and it affects a lot of people around the world, including right here in the Caribbean. And it's something that we're definitely trying to tackle. And we eventually want to get to the point where legislature makes laws that makes it necessary for people who need access to menstrual products to get them for free, similar to how we treat condoms. And that is something that we're actively working on as we speak.
Now, Shelly-Ann, it certainly is a concept that I only heard about after you shared it with me. Period poverty. What is it?
Period poverty, yeah. Well, simply put, period poverty is the inability to access or afford menstrual products when you need it. And I talk about when you need it because it's not a permanent situation. You can be able to manage your periods normally and you lose your job. And because you lost your job, you lose your income, and now you have to still find this product that you need every single month, which is something that we take for granted. It is a recurring expense, and especially for women who have girls, who have children. So it's not just for you, it's now for your child. And so menstrual products is not just a need, it's an expense. And it's getting even more expensive because I don't know if you have been tracking the prices of menstrual products, but I have. And in the last 2 years, at least here in Jamaica, they have at least tripled. And I know that that's the case across the Caribbean. Maybe not exactly that, but I can guarantee you, because I've been following the numbers here in Jamaica, that the price of menstrual products continue to go up. And because we don't make them here in the Caribbean, we have to import them. The rate of exchange matters, the logistics matters, the shipping matters, and all of those things affect the prices. And it is really something that people are struggling with, especially people who are lower income.
So talk to us about what inspired you to kind of share this journey in It's My Body, period.
Well, It's My Body, period was my attempt to try to make period accessible and make it normal. And I know that sounds really strange because periods are supposed to be normal. Like, why aren't periods normal? But culturally, we look at periods as a taboo topic and something that we don't want to talk about in civilized spaces. And everybody knows that periods exist, but we just expect it to be an unspoken thing. And I really wanted to change that. I wanted to create a space where parents can talk to their children about periods easily and, make it easy to understand, especially for the little girl who's going to have to go through this journey. So it was very important for me to make period accessible to young people, because right now, well, I mean, it has improved a little bit now, but generally speaking, the way we approach it is that you can't even speak about it. And I specifically target men because they are fathers of some of these little girls, and they can't talk to their daughters about period either. So what It's My Body period end up being is really a tool to open the conversation about period, to learn about period for both the parent and the child, and to make it easier for her to transition as she gets into adulthood. And we talk to boys about periods too, because we want to get this thought process that periods are just something that women and girls need to worry about, and men and boys get to live happily ever after and never have to think about periods. I simply just don't want that to happen anymore.
You've taken it a step further and developed a Her Flow Foundation.
Yes.
So let's talk about how the foundation, the work of the foundation, ties in with your book and your general activism.
Well, the book is really a tool. It's My Body period. It's really a tool. So it's a major part of the period education that we do. And Her Flow's foundation is in education, because I think that we really do need to have better conversations and education around reproductive health generally. And, the activism is a part of what I use to get that conversation started, especially in spaces where it normally don't happen. For example, we have gone to corporate offices where we encourage CEOs and decision makers to put free menstrual products in the bathroom for their staff, because it really impacts their productivity. And just think, if you have your period and you're unprepared that day, or maybe you're having a heavy period flow day, how convenient would it be for you to just be able to go into your bathroom at the office and handle your business and get back to work? Rather than stopping what you're doing, you have to now go on the road and face the traffic, and you lose an hour, sometimes even more, of productive time just trying to solve this simple biological need. Also, what we have been able to do is to get the support of different distributors here in Jamaica of the menstrual products, and different corporate offices on board. We have even gone and applied for grants from different entities. We won a grant recently from the Canadian Fund, and we were able to help us to spread the word and create the education in different schools, because we support schools at the tertiary, at the primary, and at the secondary level. So we really have been able to do a lot of great work, with the support of many, many different stakeholders. And we're happy that we're able to do that, but we still have so much more to do, because period shame is still a thing, and it's an obstacle to us getting to the point where period equity can be achieved.
You've also established a Period Awareness Day and a Period Awareness Month. How has this changed the conversation in Jamaica?
Well, Period Awareness Day is something that I'm very, very proud of, because what we have been able to do was to activate young people. So we do a lot of work inside of the colleges for Period Awareness Day, and they get very involved. They're interested in being ambassadors. They want to talk more about providing menstrual products for the students, especially for those on campus, because college kids, they don't have any money either, and they have to deal with period. So we support them, especially the ones who are staying on the dorm. We give them free menstrual products. We help them to manage their periods while they're there on their own, because for some of them, it's the first time they're on their own outside of their parents' supervision and their parents' house. So now they have to learn how to monitor and manage their resources themselves. So part of what we do is to give them those tools, and we also help them with other tools. We are doing a college tour right now that includes giving them financial literacy workshops. We talk about responsible social media behavior. We even talk about how they deal with conflicts, so that we have less incidences of violence amongst them. And we work with the Jamaica AIDS Support for Life to for them to get free HIV testing, because based on the numbers that are being reported around the world, is that the demographic that is showing the most cases of new HIV infections are college-age students. So we really want to make sure that we give them the tools that they need in those spaces. And we have also been able to keep the conversation going through social media. And on Period Awareness Day, which is October 24th, by the way, and Period Awareness Month is in the month of October. And people say, but Shelley, isn't that Cancer Awareness Month too? Yes. And that is fine, because period and cancer happen in the same body. So if breast cancer happen in the same body, so we all have to make sure that we support the different causes. But it's something that we are encouraging people in the Caribbean to participate in. So everybody watching right now, put it in a calendar. Period Awareness Day is October 24th. If you want resources, if you want more information on Period Awareness Day, you can visit our website, embraceherflow.com.
All right, Shelley is going to be here in Barbados. I'm putting that out there in the atmosphere.
I am coming. I hear Carrie Festa is returning to Barbados this year. I'm coming.
Last time you were here, it was for Carrie Festa on my invitation.
Yeah.
So we look forward to hearing more about it. And of course, you can find the book wherever books are sold. You can check her out online at Shelly Ann Weeks. That's on Instagram. And of course, this is not the last time you're going to see Shelly Ann Weeks here on Morning Barbados. She certainly has lots more to share than this book. It's My Body, period. She has another book that talks about how she dealt with fibroids. So we're going to be delving into that as we continue to focus on women's health. Thank you for waking up early and sharing with us, Shelly Ann. We know Jamaica is 1 hour behind.
Oh, don't worry. I'm usually up early. I'm actually in the middle of a college tour right now, and I usually leave out at 4:30 to go to the schools all the way at the end of the island. So it's fine. It's always a pleasure to see you, Ticia. Thank you again.
Wonderful. Same here. So thank you once again, activist, author. It's My Body, period. Make sure you check it out. And if you're having a difficult time having that conversation with young women, trust me, it's a great book to gift them or to read through together. Well, that's it for Barbados for today. Oh, I'm having some challenges here with the throat, and I have some little something going on. I'm going to try to work on that so it can be even better for you tomorrow. Coming up tomorrow, conversations on CARICOM, the very first one for 2025. In the next chapter, we're going to be talking with a Barbadian author and engineer who's living in the Netherlands. And we have lots and lots of interesting things and people to share with you. So thanks for being with us today, and we invite you to come on back tomorrow. Have a great one. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to you.